Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to put this video out to you guys because there is a new option that's appeared on the left hand side with inside Flutterflow, and it's all about data types. And obviously you can create custom data types now with inside your Flutterflow application, and you can use it throughout kind of actions and custom functions in the app state, in the page state, however you want to use them. You can actually now shape up a custom data type which you can use throughout your application. So on the left hand side here, this new option called data types, if you just select that and you're into this wonderful screen which allow you to then define a new data type. Now I've created one called user, and my user has a full name, it has an age, and it has a list of favorite fruits. This is just a string list of favorite fruits. Okay, so you can simply create data types by just hitting the little plus option here. It will come up and ask you for a name. Once you put the name and hit create, you'll end up with a bit of an empty view here on your schema, and then what you can then do is you can then start adding fields in. And of course when you add fields in, you can add the usual types of fields in. You can kind of add data types inside data types and all that kind of stuff. So you can really kind of build up a really quite deeply nested schema of kind of fields. But I've kept it really simple here. I've just created one that's got these particular fields in, and I'm going to show you now how to use that throughout your application. There's lots of use cases for this, but I've just put a little sample together to give you a bit of a flavor to how you can actually use it. So on the left hand side I've got the app state option, and with inside app state I've created a field called user. Okay, so I've just gone up to add state variable, typed in user, and in the drop down here I've selected data type at the bottom. Okay, and then when you choose data type, then it will give you an option to choose the data type that you created on that previous screen. Okay, so I've just selected user here, and this is the one that I've got, and it's just here, and it's persisted, so it's true. So all of the data that I actually store with inside this particular data type will be persisted. If it's on like a mobile device, it will be persisted. So of course when you reload the application, you've got all of the data that you stored with inside that app state user field. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Of course you can set some default values as well. So of course this pulls in the fields that you have specified previously. You can fill all these sort of details in, and of course you can then have got all of these details of the you can add additional items into the list and all that kind of stuff. So you can kind of sort of set up some magic if you wanted to before you actually use it inside your application, but I've kept it really simple, not put anything in there for now. So here we are then in the sample application. This is obviously the actual widget tree here of the application I'm just going to show you. So it's a really simple application. Okay, so we've got a couple of text fields up here that is mapped to the full name and the age, and then I've got this option called favorite fruits. Okay, this is where I can just type in a favorite fruit, and it will just add it to a list, which is the list of favorite fruits with inside my custom data type. Okay, and of course update here, this button here will just persist the value changes here to the application state variable as well. Okay, so everything is situated with inside the app state, and this screen is mapping onto the application state, but the key thing is that it's conforming to the custom data type that we've created, or at least I've created earlier on, which I demonstrated to you at the beginning. So let's just fire this application up and I'll show you how it works. So here we are then with the application run, and let me just type in my name here, put Steve in there. This is not my age, but I'm just going to put 35 in. I wish I was 35. In the favorite fruits option, I'm just going to type in apple and just hit the little plus there, and I'm just going to type in orange here, and let's just add that in. And of course by updating the custom field, then what I'm doing, this custom field option here will just persist these particular values within the app state. Now when I do hit the update, then what I've got is I've got some visibility, the rule that's really showing this hi Steve. But you'll notice here that there's a difference between Steve here, which is kind of like an uppercase S, and then the rest of it is lowercase, to then a full uppercase sort of a name field. Okay, and I'll show you what I'm doing is I'm actually calling out to the custom function, and I'm actually converting that to uppercase and then returning the value back as a string. So let me show you that in a second. But generally it's really straightforward application. We can then remove all of these details here, and of course if I now reload the application up here, because I've persisted this data, you can see that I've got everything in there as well, and it's retrieved back. So let me show you how the custom function bit works, because you can use custom data types within custom functions as well. So let's pop back to the UI builder. Let's have a look. So here we are then within the custom code section, and I've created this really simple one-line function which is called display name to uppercase. And all this is doing is just I'm passing in the user, the custom data type actually within. So I've got an argument here on the right hand side which is returning a string, but the argument that comes in, this value here, is the user. So I'll show you that in a second in the action flow editor where I'm passing the user in, and all I'm simply doing is grabbing the user. I'm pulling the full name out, so we know that full name is a field name within inside the custom data type, and of course I'm just using this function here called to uppercase. This is just a kind of behind the scenes kind of Dart a kind of operation that will actually allow us to then convert that to uppercase. Okay, so just moving into programming territory there, but for people who have dabbled with some programming will know exactly what that does. And really all I'm doing is I'm just returning it back. So a string is going to come back, I'm passing in the user data type, and of course it's just returning that back. Okay, and I'll show you how that's called now with inside the action flow editor. So here we are then in the UI. So let's look at this one I've got up here then. So this particular sort of text field up here is a text combination. So I'm just saying hi, comma, and then if I just select that, you'll see that I'm then showing the display name to uppercase. So this is the custom function that I'm calling. So all I've literally done up here, I've just pressed the options up here. I've selected custom function, and I've then selected my display name to uppercase. And the arguments that I'm passing in is the data type. Okay, so the user data type that I'm passing in is coming from the application state. So if I just choose that here, you can see that I'm just pulling out from the application state. Okay, that's all I'm doing. I'm passing it in, and then what I've got coming back, of course, then is the text value, the uppercase name that comes back from that particular custom function. So you can see now that what's great about the custom data types is the fact is I can actually use those now as arguments within to my custom function. So that completely allows you to really get a little bit deeper now in and build out some really quite complex custom functions, depending obviously what you're looking to achieve. But it's fantastic that it supports that. So just cancel that and cancel that. And of course, how does the rest of it work then? So with the name field up here, so if we just look at just a typical field that you're binding to the custom data type. So if I just select the name field here, and I just move down here to the initial value, if I just select that, you can see that I'm going into the app state, I'm selecting user, and the field that I'm interested in is the full name. Okay, so I can just show you that as a quick demo on how I do that. If I just, in fact, let me just remove this here, and I can show you how that works. If I just select this one here, I can go into the app state, I can select user, and I can go to select field, and I just go to full name. It is simple as that. Okay, so it knows it's my full name there, and of course, you wouldn't be pulling out favorite fruits here because it's just a string value, but you can see here that it gives you that full access then to your list of custom fields that you've got within inside the custom data type. So just hit confirm, and then we know that's mapped. So I've done the same thing for age as well. Now with favorite fruits, there's nothing here. This little plus action here is going to add that favorite fruit. Okay, so if I just go to the action flow editor, and the magic happens on this particular one here called update app state. So if I just select that, so all I'm doing is I'm going to the update app state. So that's the action that I'm setting up, and I'm going to set the fields. If I just click on that here, you can see that I'm now doing update fields. Okay, if I just choose that, you can either have set value and clear value if you're working at the top level. So if you're trying to do the full name or the age, you can obviously set the value there, but I'm actually updating the actual fields itself. So if I go to update user, you can see here now that the fields that I've selected is actually the favorite fruits, and all I'm doing is I'm just adding to the list. So with that selected, you've got a number of other options here. Of course, you can remove from list, which is what I'm doing below, but I've got to add to list. So let's just not worry about that. But then I've got here the value to actually add. And of course, on my screen, I've got a fruit sort of text field, and I'm really just pulling out the text value that's been entered into that. And of course, I'm then saving that actually into the favorite fruits list within inside my custom data type. So that's really straightforward. And of course, this last thing is just clearing out the text field once I've actually added that in. So that's all good stuff. I've selected up here fruit field to be cleared once I've actually played that action out. So as soon as I hit the little plus, that value gets added to the list, and of course then the value gets cleared out of there. Now with inside the update custom field app state, if I just go here, of course, I just open that up, you can see I've got this update app state again. I'm just setting the fields of the user. So if I go into the update user, you can see there the fields that I'm selecting is the full name and age. And if I just select full name there, you can see I'm just pulling out of the widget text field. Okay, so it's just coming out of the actual widget state as well. So just cancel that. So it's all really, really straightforward. And then just close that down. And then finally, of course, we then got the list view itself. So the list view, quite simply, I've just gone up here, I've just generated the dynamic children. My fruit is my variable, so every single row that I've got in here is going to be fruit. And then, of course, with my value is going to be my favorite fruits. Okay, so again, going into the app state, I'm selecting my favorite fruits because it's a list. So of course it's detected that, and then that's absolutely fine. Then I'm going to get everyone that I'm going to get back then is going to be a fruit. And of course the text field in here is then just bound to the fruit item. So I just go in here and then I go to the little edit up here. You can see that I'm pulling out the fruit item here, which is quite simple. And then of course it's just it is what it is itself. It's just a string. Okay, so that's what's going to get displayed on the UI. And then finally then on the little sort of line here, the actual to remove it from the list, you can quite clearly see here I'm just got another action called, again, updating the app state, because that's where the list is. And of course I'm going into the set fields, and then I'm going into the update fields here, which is update user, and I'm going into my favorite fruits list with inside, and then I'm removing from the list the fruit item. Okay, so this is the row that I've got for every single one. It's just the fruit item is going to then be removed from the list. So it's really, really, really sort of straightforward. I didn't put any update on here, but you can update as well, of course. But that's what I've just done for simplicity. So yeah, so that's it. So that's custom data types. Really, really handy. Again, there's many use cases for this. Of course, if you are building an application, for example, where you're looking to persist a kind of a structured data, you're not using a database or anything like that, but you want to kind of shape up a nice set of fields to store data on your device, then custom data types will give you the ability to then persist a kind of a schema or a structure that you come up with that is going to be familiar to you, that you can then use throughout your application. Of course, I've just used the app state here as an example. So yeah, so I hope that's useful to you guys, and yeah, good luck with your custom data types.